Raw from London, March the 31st, 2025. Let's get into the show, but first we got news and notes. We got one note. Apparently, Karrion Kross, aka Killer Kross, is likely on his way out. There was some conversation that this is a contract year for him, and then he changed his Twitter account to his real name and changed his name back from Karrion Kross to Killer Kross. So it looks like he might be leaving WWE. If he is, I can tell you this, he was stealing money. 3 years, he probably had 6 matches total in that entire time. I'm guessing he's been healthy. They just haven't had anything for him to do outside of instigate other people's feuds. Guy is good. He's big. He's jacked. I just don't see what the problem is. I would hate for see this guy end up in TNA, or not TNA, because TNA is not bad. And I'm not sure he's willing to work with TNA. I know him and Scarlett had an issue there. I meant NWA. I would hate for him to end up in MLW again. God, that would... Yikes. Working for Court Bauer. But if this WWE thing ain't working out, it's got to be a sad, sad case, because this is one of the guys who I actually liked in NXT and thought he might have had something, but I guess Triple H disagrees. He's got room for checks, notes, Akira Tozawa, but not for Karrion Kross. What can you do? What can you do when Otis still has a job? Even though I like Otis. Never mind on Otis. Not too much on Otis, okay? But there's some real bums on this roster that I could think of that I would not do anything with, and have them sitting in catering rather than Karrion Kross. But, Triple H makes the decisions, and he gets to pick what kind of ice cream. And I guess Karrion Kross is not his flavor. Let's get into this Monday Night Raw, okay? John Cena, Cody Rhodes, they finally had their debate, their verbal joust. This is what Cody Rhodes has been preparing for. He's been in the mirror doing this, performing in the mirror, getting ready, dabbing his brow. He's been waiting on this. He's been waiting on this so long, he decided to jump out the window first. He tries to cut Cena off, thinking Cena's going to talk about his lisp. Thinks Cena's going to talk about him being Stardust. Going to talk about the neck tattoo, getting booed in AEW. He says that he's been upset because John Cena lied to the audience. That John Cena does care about the audience, just like John Cena does care about him. And that they wrote together and they sang songs together. So they're good buddies. They're the best of friends. John Cena then turned that by saying that he's not going to protect Cody. Cody's been protected long enough. He says he's going to bury Cody. And he says that people think that I bury talent, but I am talent. I bury mediocrity. Ugh, that was nasty. Then John Cena turned what Cody Rhodes just said about them riding together by saying, "You are my chauffeur." You used to carry my bottles, carry my bags. So he said that, he said that Cody Rhodes was a pickpocket who stole all his secrets and still is underwhelming. He said that he gave you the keys to the kingdom. He told you to stop being phony, but you didn't listen. You're too perfect. You're too polished. You rely on too many lazy gimmicks. He says that underneath all the songs and the pyro is just mediocrity. Said that Cody Rhodes is afraid to show people who he really is. He said that Cody Rhodes is an amalgamation, a giant blob of all of his favorite wrestlers and all his favorite people that he saw on television. And he said that tattoo exposes you. It's not where you put it. It's the fact that you even got it in the first place. You got your gimmick on your neck. So Cody Rhodes says that the audience chose him, while one guy in the office who isn't around anymore, that they don't talk about, chose John Cena. And that if anybody's a company creation, it was John Cena. And that he got more dick in those promos than he has in those jorts. He says that John Cena created a whole generation of disenfranchised fans. So he shouldn't act like this place was better with him at the top. He says of the two of them, John Cena is the one who sold out to The Rock. And that while he still is Cody Rhodes' hero, he's still a piece of shit. John Cena says that he was never protected. He put everybody out there and let them take their best shot. And he's always been there because he can take it. He says that he made things great, even when things weren't always great. He said he made empires for billionaires. Cody Rhodes only stole money from their kids. And he's going to leave them there hanging in the wind. And then Cody had got the last word in by saying that the people have never said that he can't wrestle. John Cena tried a cheap shot. We end with the crossroads, and Cody Rhodes lays John Cena out at the end of the segment. Y'all are not gonna like me, man. I was prepared for this. I said that the problem with this feud is too meta. It's still too meta. Still too inside baseball. It's still too much for the guys the dirt sheets. It's too much. So much of this stuff, I don't think is even relevant. John Cena saying, they say I bury talent. Who says you bury talent? The dirt sheet says you bury talent. Why do you care what the dirt sheets think? Who cares? You should not be... Don't build stories around what Dave Meltzer and all these guys have been saying for years. Come on, man. That's a huge weakness. I cannot stand it. Yes, it was a great line that he says that he is the talent. He buries mediocrity. That was a great line. That was excellent. I just don't like where it came from. I don't like that we're building storylines around dirt sheet guys. It's stupid. And it's the same thing with him saying that Cody Rhodes is too polished and too perfect. This is the shit that Jim Cornette said about Cody Rhodes when he was in AEW. That Cody, stands in front of a mirror and practices his promos. It's like, yes, we know that. The idea that people say Cody is inauthentic. Yes, we've been talking about that when it comes to why he got booed in AEW. This is the shit we were saying on the internet. I don't want to hear JD from New York or Solid Monster or Jim Cornette coming out of the mouth of John Cena. That's not what I want to hear. I'm sorry. Y'all may love this shit and it's great. It was a really good promo. But the content needs to be more of what John Cena thinks about Cody Rhodes. Not what dirt sheet dumbasses and all these other podcasters and other people on Twitter think about Cody Rhodes or think about John Cena. We can promo these guys all day, picking apart every single goddamn thing. It should not be what we think used in promos and spewed at the talent so they can then respond to it. No. This is, you're the character. Like you can always tell when writing is bad is when the writer feels the need to respond. This started happening in comic books somewhat recently, within the last 10 years or so. They would look at something in like the letters page, or they get a tweet, and all of a sudden it'd be a topic of conversation in the comic book. And you're like, what are you doing? Just tell your story. Tell your story and run with it. And the people who don't like it, they're not going to like it. The people who do like it are going to like it. But when you detour, or when you feel the need to address what people who are not within your universe thinks, then what you're showing is for starters, you're too online. Second, you're too insecure. Don't be insecure. Like, it seemed to me that the best bit about this, probably the bit they should have leaned into more, was Cody Rhodes and John Cena's personal relationship. That's what I wanted to hear more about, because you can always relate that to the characters. That John Cena, let Cody Rhodes in the kitchen and he stole the recipe. That's good. I like that. That's what I want to hear. That's not something you get from like dirt sheet guys and stuff. Yes, Cody Rhodes is stealing bits of John Cena and Triple H and other people that he's seen on television. His dad. so many other people. He called him the Cable Guy, basically. I don't know if you guys have seen Cable Guy. It was Jim Carrey. It was a comedic, but it was kind of like it was a comedy movie, but I guess it was like a horror film, or about this poor, pathetic dude who grew up watching TV, and so he imitates television characters throughout his entire life. It's sad and pathetic, but as soon as John Cena said that, that's the first thing that came into my head. Cable Guy. Okay, look, I can agree that the segment was entertaining, but it doesn't feel like John Cena was talking to Cody Rhodes. It felt like these guys strolled through Reddit or 4chan. Probably not 4chan, because all they talk about is Kevin Nash getting raped. I don't know where they got that from, but that's a joke that's been going on for like 25 years on 4chan. Get new jokes, 4chan. Anyway, it's like somebody strolled through these Twitter and Facebook or whatever and picked out whatever people have said about these two guys in forever and brought it out and just laid it out there. And I don't, for me, it was too much. I wanted to hear more personal stuff. You know, John Cena said that his why is that Cody Rhodes has been stealing his steeds, and I'm like, okay, that's still not good enough as far as I'm concerned, you know. But I did like his I am the talent. I bury mediocrity. That was great. That was a good one. I also like the line about him building empires for billionaires while Cody only steals money from their kids. That was a good one. Cody Rhodes comment about one guy from The Office who chose John Cena. See, the problem with that line is that Vince was, and this is part of John Cena's story, Vince didn't like John Cena initially. It was Stephanie that saved John Cena. So he should have turned that around. And that's how you know, like, they're using inside baseball dirt sheet shit. Because John Cena should have instantly said, oh, you mean Stephanie is the one who gave me the chance, not that other guy. The other guy was a Johnny come lately. He didn't believe in me, just like he didn't believe in you. You know, like, that's the kind of real shit. And Cody should have known that, considering they rode together. They had to. He's watched every fucking WWE documentary that they put out. You know he has. He's a super fan. So he should know John Cena's story. It was put that way that he was Vince's choice and nobody else's, because that's what the dirt sheet guys believe. This is what the people on the dirt, they believe. Oh, Vince alone loved John Cena, not all these motherfuckers walking around in the t-shirts and the headbands, and you know how TV ratings went up when he was on the show, or how, you know, merchandise was sold and attendance was up when he was on the show. None of that stuff. It was all because Vince wanted him there. Okay. Now, if Cody wanted to say that John Cena is a company creation, I like that. That's a good line. You know, he could say, I'm a self-made man. You're a Vince-made man. You know, or whatever. I mean, then you got this one line Cody did, saying that John Cena left an entire generation of disenfranchised fans. It's like, okay, if John Cena was running people off, then he wouldn't have been in the top of the company. Trust me. So what you're talking about is, again, the dirt sheet podcast guys. I don't care what they think. That's who gives a fuck what they think? It should not be about what those people think. And Cena should have just said, they watch every week. Who cares if they're disenfranchised? They were still watching me. They're watching me right now. They're live tweeting this at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because they don't have jobs. Fuck. Anyway, it was a good segment, but my problem is that this Triple H era is just too much people reading the dirt sheets, responding to dirt sheets, listening to podcasts, and not being in the moment. I do not feel like I'm hearing two characters talk. It still does not feel like John Cena is talking, right? There's something weird about this. It's so off-putting because as into it as everybody else is, I just can't get it. I do not feel like John Cena is talking. This, I don't know. But he still carved up Cody. Cody had a pretty good, some pretty good rebuttals, a good line here and there. But of course, when Cody says that the fans have never chanted, "You can't wrestle," this should have been the prime time for John Cena to turn around. Instead of that being the thing that pissed him off, which I don't know why that would have, he should have said, "Who cares what they think? They bought tickets. Who cares what they think? They buy merchandise. They don't know shit about wrestling." Like, this is when he should have called Cody a fucking mark. Like, what are you talking about? Who cares what they think? I win. It still feels to me like John Cena is playing a heel character. But he did rip Cody to shreds verbally, which was to be expected. And Cody's confidence, it went low. It was sad. Because Cody started with he was full of piss and vinegar when it started. And then by the end, Cody was like, he had shrunk a couple of inches in height. He got pretty tiny. He stole money from Tony Khan. Oh, God. This, of course, led to a lot of people who didn't really like the AEW references. I don't really care about it. Like, it's obvious with Cody's character, that's one of the things you're going to go to. Just like it was pretty obvious that Stardust is a thing you go to, but John Cena didn't even go that route. But I would prefer it if, guys could have conversations and, again, not get too inside baseball. I don't like that, even though I understand it, that it's not in character. Like, the characters have a universe, but I guess, the Triple H era is everything's valid. I'm like, okay, then why don't we just talk about how he lost to Sammy Guevara or something? Like, you can't beat Sammy Guevara, so how can you beat me? Like, you're not going to do that, right? So then why are you mentioning it at all? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't mention it at all at that point. God damn. If you're not going to go all the way with it, don't half-ass it. If everything's relevant, then just talk about everything. Talk about how him and Big Show ruined a weigh-in segment in AEW, since we can talk about AEW now. Isn't that what MJF said? Don't insult the fans' intelligence. I hate when people say that, because if you read a comic book, Spider-Man talking to Daredevil don't mention Batman at all. Is that an insult to people's intelligence? No, he doesn't live in their fucking universe. Why do they be talking about him? So why should they be talking about AEW at all? They should have enough heat between the two of them. Between these two characters, they should have enough dynamic statements to make, just between these two characters, that they don't need to mention AEW at all. Now, Vince, I shrug. Vince is always going to end up being, the punchline. This is the second time they did it. The first time was CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, right? And each time Vince ended up being right. So I don't know why they keep bringing him up. They keep bringing him up like, you were chosen by a guy who's not here anymore. Like, and he was bloody right. Like, I'm a world champion. I'm still at the top of the card 10 years later. He was fucking right. So, like, how is that a burn? How is it a burn that he's right? Like, I'm the biggest star in the business. He was right. Jesus Christ. Stop being stupid. Let's move on, man. Jesus Christ. I spent almost 20 minutes on that segment. But I guess it was worth it, right? New Day defeated New Catch Republic because Tyler Bate is back. They were in merry old England. Got no fucking reaction. Nobody knew who these guys were. How was that when they're literally from there? New Day won. Who cares? New Day wants a tag team title match. The Vikings showed up. Nothing happened. That's boring. I hope they don't put them on WrestleMania. That's only going to drag the card down. If you're going to have a WrestleMania pre-show, then put that on there. They really botched this New Day heel turn, didn't they? They really ruined this shit. Big E did not return to the story. by the way. Remember the continuity of everything, right? Triple H, you know about the continuity? You know the social intelligence? We know Big E still works there, and he's not going to make a single appearance. He has made no appearances since that day. Not one. You would think that would be something interesting that you could do with New Day. Is maybe have Big E work against him? You know, have some new guys that he's mentoring or whatever, or something, or at least, you know, conversations between them or something. But nothing. He's gone. The story it peaked right there, and I guess. Look, I'm not going to try to revitalize this storyline. Who gives a shit? All right, Jimmy and Jey. They were hanging out backstage. Jim thought he could beat Gunther. Him and Jey were, you know, bigging each other up backstage. Jey wants him to be careful because Gunther is dangerous. Jim was like, yeah, but I'm going to beat him. And then you're going to beat him. I'm like, nobody's going to beat this guy. Gunther defeated Jimmy Uso, obviously. The post-match was the most important part. Because after the match, Gunther puts Jimmy back in the sleeper, which he won with. Jey made the save. Gunther fled. They helped Jim up, and then Gunther returned. Attacked Jey from behind. He beat up some security guards. He then zip-tied Jey to the bottom rope, and then proceeds to beat the dog shit out of Jimmy. He hit him in the head with the belt, busting him wide open. Did the old Danielson elbow drops on him, put him in the sleeper again. Jey was crying and reaching and whining, and Gunther is covered in Jimmy's blood. And I'm like, oh, shit. We finally got some heat. This is the one positive thing about Triple H being 2 online. Because everybody has been bitching about this feud. Talking about how terrible this feud is. Ain't got no heat. It's too much of the underdog story. They finally decided to do something smart. They sacrificed Jimmy to Gunther. Now, the visual of Gunther being covered in Jimmy's blood, with Jey unable to do anything about it, is perfect motivation. This thing finally starts to feel personal. We've gone beyond, I can beat him, Oos. I just know I can beat him, Oos. To now he wants revenge. Now he's got to beat Gunther. Now it's a necessity that he beats Gunther. It's not an option anymore. It's for his brother now. I respect that. This is good. This was the best thing they've done with this storyline yet. This is what was needed. Hopefully they don't decide that this is enough, and then that's it. You can continue to build on this. You know, I want Gunther to cut a promo next week about this. You know, but finally they did something. Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor defeated Penta and Braun Breaker. Penta got pinned in this match, which was weird. He got speared by Braun Breaker and a coup de grace from Finn Balor. This led to Penta and Braun Breaker yelling at each other later, and then Finn Balor wants an Intercontinental Championship match because he won this tag team bout. Liv Morgan goes to Dominic and say, well, you should get a shot at the Intercontinental title. They're saying she's Yoko Ono. She's playing Finn and Dominic against each other. Okay. It's a multiple man match. But how many men is it going to be? How about you get the match? You get the match. You get the match. You get the match. Everybody gets the match. How about that? Next, Chad Gable says he wants to wrestle in Minnesota, but he got a doctor's excuse why he can't wrestle tonight. And then Adam Pearce said, well, your doctor's excuse is for next week too. So El Grande Americano will fill in for Chad Gable next week against an unknown opponent. Maxine Dupree shows up. She got an idea for tag team titles. And it's not for Akira Tozawa and Otis. It's for herself. And Natalya. Herself and Natalya. Uh, um, can we pick somebody else, please? Like, I get it. I think they've done stuff before between Natalya and Maxine Dupree. If I remember correctly, they did do some things before. But yeah, I don't care about this. Natalya is on her last legs. I think she might have stealth told Trips that she's on her retirement tour as well. Because now they got her, they're using her as a draw for NWA. Which, good luck with that. That's in May, though. That's after WrestleMania. She's also going to be in Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. She's going to be wrestling some Japanese girl who I don't know. I don't know who the Japanese girl is. I really don't. But that ought to be something. See, those are the kinds of things Natalya should be doing. She should be like WWE's women's wrestling ambassador, the Serena Deeb of WWE. She can go work all these indie shows, the NWA, the GCWs. She can go work for Court Bauer, do anything, get off of WWE TV. Go expand your horizons. Go spread your wings, baby. Go literally do anything else. You deserve it. Good on Triple H for spreading Natalya around, saying, hey, look, you don't have to stay here. Go out and search fortune elsewhere. You're so talented. You've been around for so long. Our fans will absolutely miss you if you go spend 2 years in NWA. You deserve it. You deserve a 3-year commitment to MLW. You deserve to do every hot dog circuit in the world. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Our fans will really appreciate it if you go sow your royal oats elsewhere. That's what I think about Natalya being Maxine Dupree's partner. Next, Logan Paul and AJ Styles. I don't know what this was. Logan Paul just started calling London broke, and that seemed to be 90% of the promo. Is Logan Paul's rich and London is poor, and that seems to be most of it. Like that's most of the promo. At some point in there, AJ Styles called Logan Paul a douchebag and said he was talented, but how far is he willing to go with his talent? Logan Paul says that he doesn't take advice from people he don't want to trade places with, and said that he's not going to fight in this town for free. He should set his sights a little bit higher, pointed at the WrestleMania sign. They got into a bit of a scuffle, and then Logan Paul hit his just entirely too complicated finisher called the Pulverizer. I don't know what that thing is supposed to be. It's some kind of looping DDT. I long for the days where guys' finishers were just super kicks or flying elbow drops. Now everybody's got to do a whirly-do in the air and land on the top of the goddamn head. I don't know. But AJ Styles is a small enough man to take it. This is going to be a really good match. These guys are going to cook. Logan Paul is a hell of a talent. And AJ Styles, of course, one of the greatest of all time. This ought to be good. This is all they really need to do right here. They don't really need to do too much. This is a showcase match. AJ Styles is on his last legs, man. He don't got to go out there and prove nothing to anybody. He's been cooking for a long time. He's probably going to give Logan Paul the best match that Logan Paul has had yet. And then, hey, Logan Paul may give AJ Styles one of the best matches he's gotten in a long time, too. So this ought to be really fun. Lyra Valkyria wants to fight Bayley because Bayley beat her 2 months ago. It seemed like it was a long time ago. I mean, they say, like, she's been a fighting champion. She's really only wrestled 2 people. She wrestled Bayley, lost, and Ivy Nile. Oh, yeah, and Dakota Kai. So I guess 3. She wrestled 3 people, and she beat 2 of them. That's been her entire Intercontinental Championship run, and this belt has been in existence since Raw on Netflix started. That was January the 6th. By the time this match airs, this Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria match, they will be exactly 90 days on Netflix. Exactly 90 days. and she would have only defended this title 2 or 3 times. Remember, she spent like the first month sitting in the crowd, looking like a hood ornament. This is a disaster, man. What is the over and under on Bayley just winning this belt? What's the over and under on that? You know, that would put Lyra Valkyria in the ground, wouldn't it? I mean, it's not like they could do worse with her. Shit, she's already a champion that's in the closet. You know, she's one of the many closeted champions on Monday Night Raw. But a lot of people thought, and let's talk about this. Let's entertain this idea for a while. Some people thought that Becky Lynch was going to show up to wrestle Lyra Valkyria for this title. And I don't know where that idea came from, outside of Becky Lynch being her quote-unquote mentor, you know, because she worked with her and put her over in NXT. So I guess there was a belief that anytime Lyra Valkyria is on the upswing, you know, Becky Lynch would show up to give her a little boost. But it's not looking like that's going to be the case. Now, if they could do that, you could always just shoehorn Becky onto WrestleMania with very little story. And as long as the match makes sense, you can actually get over with it. Could this be the bridge to that, where she beats Bayley and then Becky Lynch shows up? I don't think so. I would probably more look at it from the perspective of Bayley wins the title and then maybe Lyra turns heel, because that's what they're doing now. They're turning everybody heel. But I guess that would be the best option you got. You know, I don't know how you salvage this belt. You know, Bayley winning it doesn't necessarily save it. It puts the belt on somebody that people care about. But I just don't see how Lyra can beat Bayley, and then what? Then what's the feud? If they do Roxanne Perez, maybe. But again, you're still like a week or two from WrestleMania, so it's looking like this belt is not going to make it to the show, which it probably shouldn't, if we're being honest. It's been dragged on the ground for almost 3 months now. So maybe both Bayley, Lyra Valkyria will have to sit in catering for WrestleMania. Maybe they'll do a women's battle royal, an Evolution battle royal. Speaking of which, let's get into this main event. The main event of the evening, the women's championship match, Io Sky versus Rhea Bloody Ripley, with Bianca Belair as the gorgeous referee. Oh my word. Her referee outfit was a distraction, if we're being honest. Very, very distracting. That girl gorgeous. That girl fine. Anyway, Io and Rhea had an okay match. They kept hitting Bianca by mistake, elbowing her, drop kicking her, slapping her, all kind of ridiculous shit. She was attacked more than any other referee. She got attacked in one match more than Earl Hebner did in 15 goddamn years. So Rhea ends up hitting a Razor's Edge, which Io kicked out of. I was unhappy about that. Then Rhea Ripley had countered a flying crossbody with a headbutt, which seems improbable that would occur, but it did. Rhea kicked Bianca Belair. It's kind of like a little drop kick or whatever. Bianca rolled out of the ring. She hits the riptide on Io Sky, but Bianca is outside the ring. And she yells at Bianca to get in the ring. Eventually she does. She only gets a 2 count. There's some arguments between Rhea and Bianca. Io Sky leaps from the top rope with a drop kick. She ends up drop kicking Bianca Belair. Bianca rolls out of the ring and disqualifies both of them and got booed for it. I told you, like, people are trying to ask the question, why is Bianca getting booed? And so many people are like, it's so racist, Europeans. Oh, it's all the Europeans, they're so racist, they don't like her. Look at what they're doing. She threw out the main event. Of course she got heat for throwing out the main event. She was in the way in the match, separating them. Look, she was doing her job, right? But she was separating Rhea Ripley as Rhea Ripley had the upper hand. And you have to know, when you're doing this, that Rhea Ripley's essentially the babyface in this situation. For no other reason then the mouth breathers over in London are super fans of Rhea Ripley. I mean, she's been essentially the fan favorite. Well, she's the fan favorite in general, but she's been a huge fan favorite over in Europe. So anything that looks like it's going to cost Rhea Ripley the match, you're going to get booed for it. In the context of the story, there's no real reason to boo Bianca except the fact that she is standing in the way of Rhea Ripley wanting to be the champion. That is literally what's getting her heat. But the thing is, she should not care. Why does she care who her opponent is? It should not even matter. That's the thing that's making people boo Bianca. She's actively involved in Rhea Ripley's business, and she does not have to be. She is the number one contender. It does not matter whether Rhea Ripley wins or not. So ultimately, she shouldn't even be there. But they're trying to force this triple threat thing. And because they're trying to force the triple threat thing, somebody's going to get booed. And since it's three baby faces, they're essentially turning Bianca, which is not fair to Bianca because she didn't do anything. Right? She didn't ask for this. But she kind of did. Because, again, they're injecting her into this Rhea Ripley Io Sky feud when she does not have to. They could have had the one match, one way or the other, and then the next one has to wrestle Bianca. As simple as that. But they did this angle where Bianca's out there clapping and cheering and getting in everybody's face. I'm like, why is she doing any of this stuff? She's been a distraction. It's ridiculous. This also could be racist, too. I'm not going to take that off the table. But get real. It's clear. The fans like Rhea Ripley. They want Rhea Ripley to win. She cost Rhea Ripley the match twice. She cost Rhea Ripley the title. And then she cost Rhea Ripley this match, but she threw it out. So, yes, there's going to be heat on Bianca. Everybody who's confused about this, it goes to show that you're not paying attention. It's no confusion. The people want Rhea Ripley to win. They want Rhea Ripley to be in the championship match. Io Sky, they like her, but she's not costing, and by she I mean Bianca, is not in any way costing Io Sky. If anything, she's inadvertently helping Io. And when you create that type of scenario, people are just going to boo her. It's common sense. Use your common sense. Anyway, there was a brawl after the match with Rhea and Bianca fighting. And then Rhea Ripley just beat up Bianca and Io. Then clutched the belt and walked off with it. So there's that. There that is. So they used the referee to get out of the match, which is what, the special guest referee is all about. Usually, very rarely do those things end straight up with, the special guest referee does their job and that's it. So at this point, man, we're stuck with this guaranteed triple threat match because now they're going to argue again next week. Rhea's going to blame Bianca for not being the champion, and Bianca's going to blame Rhea for hitting her, and all this kind of stuff. So we already know where this is going. Clearly, I've been an advocate for getting rid of the triple threat match, not wanting anything to do with the triple threat match or the triple threat concept. But I've been railing against it so much in that other situation that it feels redundant to do the same thing here. When, again, you have the same exact situation that you have in the other. You have a dream match with Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Why it needs to be complicated with you putting Io Sky in it, I'll never know. It doesn't make the match bigger. This is, it's a backlash match. It's something you do for Crown Jewel or something like that. WrestleMania should be the biggest possible match that you can do. Sometimes it's not possible for you to do the biggest match you can do for whatever reason. But there is no reason why you can't do Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair one-on-one. There's just no good reason why you can't do it. The only reason you wouldn't do it is because you decide that Io Sky has to be involved. But she does not have to be involved. You have to make tough choices. And tough choices means that even if you like Io, you have to find something else for her to do. But squeezing her into this has caused the vast majority of the problems. And the problems will persist. And they don't care enough about Bianca or Rhea, to be quite honest, to make the hard decision. And they don't care enough about the audience to make the hard decision and to give us the best match possible, the biggest fight possible. It seems to me that their focus is on not the biggest fight possible, but making sure all of their favorites get on the show. So there it is. All right, let's talk about Monday Night Raw as a show. It was much better than before. Mainly it was better because they actually put forth effort and you actually got some heat out of this Gunther and Jey Uso storyline. They honestly dug deep and really got some really good stuff out of John Cena and Cody Rhodes. Even if I do have an issue with some of the content, I have to say it was the best segment that John Cena has had since he turned heel. He really shredded Cody and made him look bad. But that's what Cody needed. He needed that. Because for far too long, he's been skating on BS. Let's say. Let's not even put too fine a point on it. And he finally got called out, which is exactly what was needed. There's still some pieces missing, of course, of the story. But there's not much you can do about that. You know, everything that involves The Rock, it's just, we don't know why The Rock is doing anything, what his part to play in this story is. We don't know because we were never told. And we weren't told because The Rock has not showed up since the Elimination Chamber. So there that is. Gunther and Jey Uso really did a good job, but the rest of the show, it's been a slog, really. The Intercontinental Championship has just been Judgment Day stuff, if we're being honest. I don't get it, and I don't care about it. I just don't care enough about Judgment Day. I mean, it is what it is. It feel like we've been doing the same thing, teasing this breakup for so long when it comes to the Judgment Day, that when it actually does happen, it's going to be like finally, more so than a surprise. It's going to be like, damn, this thing should have happened 6 months ago. Should have happened 8 months ago, for God's sake. Everything else, like the tag team titles and the Women's Intercontinental Championship and all that, has been garbage. That's just putting it fairly. There's no excitement. And this show did more than previous shows to make WrestleMania exciting. But I still don't feel like you've done enough. I feel like there's still some things missing. But let me know what you guys think. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah. We're just gonna